I'm going to embed FibaFuse tape on this seam and this inside corner in some regular all-purpose compound. And I just want to show you how easy that is to do. You always do your seams first and inside corners last. I'm just centering the FibaFuse tape along the seam. Then when I come to the end of a seam, I usually take my taping knife and I just hold it against the tape and pull it, and it just cuts it right off. It embeds very easily because it doesn't actually stretch or absorb any moisture. So it's easy to embed in the compound nice and tight. It's actually fusing with the compound. It's not just laying on top of the compound. And because it's fused with the compound instead of laying on it, it dries a little quicker too. One of the problems you have with taping a seam is if it's done with paper tape, in 4 or 5 hours it really appears to be dry, but the compound behind that tape is not thoroughly dry. And then if you just go ahead and put your fill coat over the top of it, later on that's going to dry and shrink and you're going to have cracks. So the FibaFuse tape is great because it dries faster, because it dries right through the tape. So I've got it embedded on the seam, and this seam is already done. Now I'm ready to apply the FibaFuse into this inside corner. So just like when I tape the seam, I apply a nice layer of compound to each edge. It's important to put enough compound on so you don't have any dry spots. But as I'll demonstrate in a second, with the FibaFuse, having a dry spot is not nearly as big of an issue as it is with paper tape. Now the FibaFuse tape is creasable. It has a nice little mark right down the center, so it folds right along that mark, and I simply put it right into the corner, right into the inside corner. Now for embedding the FibaFuse tape into the inside corner, I like to use an inside corner trowel. What it does is it pushes the tape in nice and tight into the corner and prevents any cutting through of the tape. And you don't have to just do it in one pass. You can do multiple passes till you're happy with how tight it is. And then you got a little bit of extra compound along this edge. I'm just going to take my taping knife and simply just smooth that out. And here again, this taping knife is not going right into the inside corner. I'm simply feathering that edge out. Now, I mentioned a minute ago that if this is got a dry spot, like let's say I didn't put enough compound into that corner and I can actually see a little dry area, at this time I can take a little bit of compound, put it right on my knife, and I can put it right into that corner and correct any of those problems right on the spot. If that were paper tape, you wouldn't see that. It could actually turn into a little bit of a bubble later on during the taping process.